the tea sipper. What up, my dudes? Holy shit, dog. So, we've got a interesting little video here. So, this is something I've been thinking ever since I played Supercross 6. I don't know if I really mentioned it in my actual review of the game, but this is something I've been thinking about this whole entire time. And it's a way of looking at it that I don't know if everybody else is going to look at it this way, but I think this is certainly something to consider. Okay? Supercross 6 basically, to me, feels like you just put what would have been MXGP 2023 on Supercross tracks. That's what the gameplay really feels like to me. What I mean by that is, let me turn this ghost off here. Alrighty. We're on some of these little moto style tracks on Supercross 6. 666! So, yeah, they've got a couple of them on here, but they're kind of goofy and weird and no roughness or anything, but yeah, the slower pace gameplay, okay? That's something that was started to get introduced with those newer MXGP games. I would say all of them since like MXGP 2019, when they started doing the actual years on the MXGP names of games. You know, what is it, like 19, 2020? I don't even know at this point, 2069, but you know what I'm talking about. Those newer MXGP games started going down more of this vibe of like slower gameplay, slower movement. Kind of bizarre that they chose to do that after going from like MXGP 3, you know, Supercross 3 was not like that. MXGP 3 was not like that. Those two games, careful, Spitzy boy. Those two games were, you know, a lot faster paced than the newer style MXGP games. Okay, we're back in here on some MXGP 2021, I think this is. Bro, I don't even know. Milestone, you have made way too many games, big dog. I can't keep up, dude. It's like MXGP 1, 2, 3 Pro, Mud, Supercross 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 420. It just keeps going. I get really confused. But at the very least, it's kind of coincidental, you have to admit, the fact that as soon as we start getting into this where they've kind of stopped making the official MXGP video games and they're going to only making the Supercross games, I just find it to be kind of interesting how now, instead of the Supercross games feeling like they did back at like Supercross 3, that kind of speed feeling, you know, that kind of quickness to the movement and the track scaling and skill gap and the jump peaks and all that kind of stuff. Now, it's as if the Supercross games have turned into the newer MXGP games. It's weird. It's as if, like, all of the people that were working on the MXGP games have joined the Supercross team working on the Supercross games within Milestone, and they have somehow managed to influence Supercross 6 in a way, because instead of it feeling like a real Supercross game with peaked out jump faces and, you know, exciting gameplay and you know, going around the track and moving really quick, like that's what Supercross is all about. But these newer MXGP games, they went down this road of like slower, you know, You can see the jump faces, man. They're tiny. You barely come off of the ground anywhere in this game. It's like somebody came through here and just rolled off the jump faces. You guys remember me talking about all this? Bro, that weird-ass traction. Oh, man. You boys remember me talking about all this for MXGP 2020 and 2021. And it's so convenient, so... interesting that now Supercross 6 basically has taken on some of those same gameplay element and features that I feel like basically ruined the MXGP series. That's exactly what it feels like is happening to me with Supercross 6, bro. All I'm saying with this video, guys, is it's just something to ponder on, bro. When you're chilling, 420 Blaze, when you're just chilling, like, something to think about how it's like Supercross 6 has taken so much influence from the MXGP series. So it really makes you sit down and wonder, like, is that the direction they're going? Is that what the rest of the Supercross game or Super Motocross games or whatever the hell else they decide to do? Is it going to be like this slow, sluggy paced, rolled off jumps, regardless if you're on a Supercross game or an MXGP game or a Lucas Oil Pro Motocross game? Have they just changed their entire ways? Like, that's what it kind of feels like. That's the direction they're going in. And the reason why I say it's like, it's like Supercross 6 equals MXGP 2023. That's not me saying Supercross 6 equals like MXGP 2020 or 2021. It's not the exact same game as those games, but it's as if, you took that progression, if you want to call it that. I don't really call it progression, but I didn't even know where the track went right there. But we're still T7 and ripping, brother. It's like you took what would have been had they kept making the MXGP games, going from 2020 to or even going back from like Pro to 2019 to 2020, 2021, all those kind of games. Like, if you would have just kept that kind of what they were doing with the physics and the track designs and the overall speed of the game and difficulty of the game, it just seemed like those games were getting easier and easier and more for the casual player. And Supercross 6, basically, in a nutshell, is exactly that game, physics-wise, like MXGP, whatever 2023 game would have been, but just, like it's in a Supercross video game instead of an MXGP game. Whereas if you go back to like even just Supercross 5 or Supercross 3, the jump rhythms were 3 times at least as complex as they are here in Supercross 6. 3 times as complex and 3 times as peaked overall. Now, of course, you can go to like one individual track in Supercross 6 that's probably close to being as peaked as like the least peaked track of Supercross 3 or something like that. But overall is what I'm talking about. When you look at all the tracks in the game, that's where I feel like Supercross 6 is just totally off the mark. And the speed of the game, instead of having that Supercross 3 kind of movement, speed, quickness of your leaning and turning and steering, and I don't know, it just had more of like you had to be able to react faster with everything you were doing in Supercross 3, MXGP 3, so now with these newer MXGP games, they've went to that sluggier style, more casual, smaller jumps. You barely come off I swear you jump bigger all the way back in MXGP 3, bro, than you do in this game. or any of those newer MXGP games. I don't know why they chose to go down that road. I told them not to do it, but they did it anyways. Now we don't even have any MXGP games. Funny, interesting how that works. We don't even have any. I don't know if Milestone just couldn't sell enough copies. I don't know if they're going to bring them back at some point. I mean, I'm not leaving anything off the table. Definitely let me know down in the comments what you guys think. But I don't know if we're getting a Super Motocross game. I don't know if we're getting a Lucas Oil Pro Motocross game. I don't know if we're just going to get another Supercross game next year. I don't have any idea what's up Milestone's sleeve. I'm just saying, you need to keep your Supercross games like Supercross games with complex rhythms, peaked out jump faces. That's what Supercross is. You don't need to bring over all of those weird elements from your newer MXGP game style over to your Supercross games. It's not going to match up. It's not going to do whatever you think it's going to do. And that's why Supercross 6 has such a bizarre kind of feeling to it, because it feels like you're playing with those newer MXGP games physics, but in jump design and shit, but in an entirely different kind of dirt bike game. You can't just, and plus, even if you don't want to look at it that way, I'm just talking about in general. Like, I still thought MXGP3 had a better speed feeling to it, jump size, all those kind of things. So, I don't know. That's just a vibe I've gotten from Supercross 6 ever since I started playing it. Just something I would kind of point out here to everybody that still either hasn't bought the game yet or hasn't decided whether or not they're going to buy it. I'm just telling you, it's got a lot of that kind of vibe like those newer MXGP games have. And I've absolutely ripped on those games till they're shredded, bro. And I did the same thing with Supercross 6. It's the same thing. They're just, I don't know, I feel like Milestone's just getting in this dulled out rut, in a sense. No pun intended, because there ain't no fucking ruts in these games. But bro, I need to drop the mic right there, dude. I don't need to go anymore, bro. I'm dropping the mic right there, brothers. Oh.